Singapore Approach Math is a general term referring to a type of mathematical instruction that was developed in Singapore in the 1980s. Singapore students did very well on international testing, and America noticed. Now in the United States, there are a number of programs using the Singapore approach to math, often just called Singapore Math. In this video, we will be giving an overview of the Singapore teaching methodology and of the programs we carry. We can start by summing it all up this way. Looking at math programs as a whole, the Singapore math programs are basically the same but different. We'll break that down for you as we go.
The scope of our discussion and comparisons will include 3 different versions of primary math, all from Marshall Cavendish, early bird math for kindergarten, math in focus from Houghton Mifflin, and shaping maths from Marshall Cavendish. These are the Singapore math programs that are available from Rainbow Resource Center and the only ones that we will be comparing.
Primary math is the oldest of the Singapore math programs, and although we have 3 different editions, each has a different copyright date. They are all based on the approach and the general scope and sequence of the original Singapore programs. These programs still have a bit of a foreign feel to them since they come directly from Marshall Cavendish, the publisher of the original math programs in Singapore. Primary Math US Edition, which dates from the early 2000s, and the Standard Edition, or SE, which dates from 2008, are available for 1st grade through 6th grade. The Common Core, or CC Edition, which has a 2014 copyright, only has courses for 1st through 5th grade. Early Bird is the kindergarten program associated with primary math and correlates with both Common Core and Standards Edition.
Math in Focus for kindergarten through 8th grades was developed by Houghton Mifflin, an American curriculum publisher, in conjunction with Marshall Cavendish, and has the look and feel of American textbook courses. There is noticeably more instruction and illustration in both the student and the teacher materials. Shaping Maths is a newer program from Marshall Cavendish for 1st through 6th grades and is based on a more recent Singapore syllabus. Shaping Maths has an online component.
All of these programs share some general characteristics, and as we said before, they are more alike than they are different. They all employ the same general teaching methods, and they all follow the same general scope and sequence. Concepts are sometimes introduced at slightly different times, and in some editions are retaught at later levels. The newer editions tend to include additional content in the areas of graphing, data analysis, and probability. There are also some differences in the supplementals that are available. However, compared to all the math programs, they are basically the same, but different.
Singapore Math focuses on teaching mathematical thinking. That means that there is a greater emphasis on understanding how numbers work together than in drilling for math facts.
The general pacing of the programs is fast, which means that students cover certain topics at earlier grade levels.
This means they are great for students who can catch on to math quickly.
At the same time, there are supplemental materials available which provide more practice or more challenge.
So they also work well for a broad range of students.
There is an emphasis on mastery learning and in establishing a level of competency with each skill set.
We often call this sequentially organized mastery math.
Concepts are presented in a concrete to pictorial to abstract progression. Also, students are taught more than one way to solve a problem,
which means the programs work well for all learning styles.
Teacher-student discussions are an important part of the Singapore math programs.
So there's an expected and necessary amount of parent or teacher involvement.
The teacher materials show how to use manipulatives to present and model concepts. For instance, in the teacher guide for Primary Math 3A Standards Edition, we see teaching strategies for illustrating subtraction using place value discs. Interestingly, the same concept is illustrated in the Math in Focus 3A text and teacher manual using base 10 blocks.
Manipulative use provides kinesthetic involvement and emphasizes concrete concepts.
Illustrations of these presentations are incorporated heavily into the early grades. Notice how the place value discs illustrate addition problems in this example from the Primary Math US 3A text.
That gives students a pictorial or visual idea of the concept.
Creative problem solving is centered in the bar model drawing methodology. To visually represent problems, students are taught to translate them into bar graph models. To illustrate, see how the bar models are introduced in the 3A Standards Edition Teacher's Guide using a question and answer dialogue between the teacher and the student. Following the lesson presentation from the teacher guide, the text takes up the visual instruction as the student is asked to solve sample problems. The workbook assignment continues with more illustrated bar models to aid in solving problems.
So that would be pictorial too, right?
Right. These models help students understand the concepts and develop a solution strategy. They help the student move to a numeric presentation of the problem. For instance, 5 times 4 = 20. They also serve as a bridge to algebraic thinking.
So they're ending with the abstract.
Exactly. Through all of this, there is a strong emphasis on problem-solving skills. The teacher materials are user-friendly and provide lesson plans as well as detailed lessons and sometimes solutions. Using the Standards Edition Teacher Guide as an example, each unit starts out with an overview that includes lesson objectives, materials, and resources. The Resources column lists pages from the textbook, the workbooks, and the extra practice books or tests. Specific lessons are listed as well as the standards that are met. Background and introductory information are provided for each chapter. Then, for each lesson, it breaks it down even further. Again, materials and objectives are listed. Teaching strategies are laid out step by step with accompanying illustrations of either manipulatives to use or whiteboard information to display. Textbook pages are referenced when it is time for students to complete tasks. Answers are provided for those tasks. Independent student workbook pages are assigned along with suggestions for relevant pages in the extra practice book, if desired. Answers to the workbook pages are in the back of the teacher's guide.
These teacher materials are essential to the program. Not only do they lead both parents and teachers through the concrete to pictorial to abstract progression, they also provide fact drill, word problems, and mental math calculations. Perhaps their most important function is to provide consistent lesson presentation in the Singapore methodology.
All the Singapore math courses are essentially structured the same. At each level, course materials are divided into semesters with A books and B books. Each A or B book is typically divided into 5 to 10 units. A books tend to cover numbers, operations, and money, while the B books tend to cover measurement, time, and geometry. In each A or B semester, there are 3 main course components: teacher materials, non-consumable textbooks, and consumable workbooks. There are also various supplemental materials to allow you to tailor instruction to your students' specific math needs. These options vary with the program or the edition.
Let's talk briefly about each of these main components. First, the teacher materials. There's a temptation to think that math is math, or I can handle 3rd grade math, so I don't need a teacher book. However, the Singapore methodology is distinctive and may not look like what we, as parents, remember that math looks like. So the teacher materials become helpful and necessary, providing well laid out lessons. For instance, much of the concrete aspect of the lesson presentation is conducted by the teacher using manipulatives and supplies that are outlined in the teacher material before progressing to the pictorial presentation found in the textbooks. Mental math activities are an important component of the program and again are outlined in the teacher materials. While not a significant part of the student materials, math fact drill is suggested and incorporated into the teacher materials. Many of our customers have noted the importance of adding this into their daily student work. A typical lesson usually takes about 30 minutes to complete. Parents should expect to work together with their students, particularly in the early grades. But there is also independent work for the student, sometimes in the textbook and always in the workbook. The amount of this independent work will increase as the grade level progresses and the skills of the student.
The basic student components for the Singapore Approach math programs are textbooks and workbooks. The textbooks are written directly to the students and are non-consumable. Students answer orally in conversation with the teacher or by writing answers on separate pieces of paper. Of course, if you choose, you could always have the student write the answers directly into the textbook. These textbooks are fundamental to the course. This is where you'll find basic instruction for the concepts, plus pictorial representations of manipulatives and problem examples. Math instruction is presented visually in the textbooks and also through teacher-student interactions. Those two aspects are the essential components. However, the same lesson in a different textbook might be taught with different manipulatives.
The workbooks expand on mathematical concepts taught in the textbooks and provide focused practice and reinforcement. The workbooks are also crucial to the program, with the student expected to do all the exercises independently. Look at these workbook examples from two separate series. While they might have a few differences in terms of appearance, the work expectations are similar. Although the Singapore math programs have a similar methodology and general scope and sequence, the way the topics are arranged in a grade level can vary, and components from the various programs are not interchangeable. However, if you want to change from one Singapore math program to another, you can usually do so between levels, just not at mid-semester.
The Singapore approach pacing is faster than many programs, so it's important to make sure your student starts out in the most appropriate level. It's helpful to have your student take a placement test, particularly if they are coming in from another non-Singapore math program. It's common for a student to place below grade level because of the different pacing, scope, and sequence. On our website, there are math placement tests for Math in Focus and Primary Math. Just search for Math Placement Tests and scroll down.
For your convenience, we have curriculum sets available for the Primary Math US and Standards editions, as well as Math in Focus. These sets include the student texts, workbooks, and teacher materials. The primary math sets for each semester include a student text, a workbook, and the teacher book. While semester sets are available for Math in Focus, we also have homeschool full year sets that include both the A and B student books plus the homeschool answer key rather than a teacher edition, as well as a student pack that includes both the A and B student books along with the assessment books. There are no workbooks in the Math in Focus middle school courses, so those semester kits include only the student book and the teacher edition. Likewise, the kindergarten program semester sets include the two-part student workbook plus the teacher edition.
Extra components or supplementals vary with the different Singapore math programs. While not necessary much of the time, they are helpful for some students. For instance, there are extra practice books and reteach books for students who might be struggling. For students who understand the concepts quickly, there are challenging word problems books. If you need tests, there are assessment books. Supplementals are often an important consideration in choosing which Singapore program to use. We know all this information can be confusing and a bit overwhelming. It's the main reason we prepared the Singapore Math comparison chart. This chart compares the various programs and lists the supplements that are available for each of those.
To transition students through the concrete, pictorial, abstract thinking process, certain manipulatives are emphasized and recommended, but these vary by program and grade level. Across all the programs, the manipulatives that are the most commonly used include 10 frames, multi-link cubes, interlocking base 10 sets, counting discs, number cubes or polyhedral dice, value discs, and household items like rulers and measuring cups. Instruction using manipulatives is integral to the Singapore philosophy, but you still have personal choice and flexibility in demonstrating concepts. The emphasis is more on the way the method is taught rather than mandating a particular manipulative. Miscellaneous items like dry erase boards, fraction squares, geometric shapes, play money, graph paper, those are also recommended. For the specific Singapore math curriculum you select, lists of suggested manipulatives can be found in the teacher guides. Currently, We have manipulative packages that correspond to the Math in Focus courses, the Primary Math Standards Edition courses, and the Primary Math US courses, and Early Bird Standards Edition course.
Although the various Singapore Approach math programs are similar in terms of structure and organization, there are some differences in detail among them. Again, they are the same, but different. The differences that are significant among the programs include, first, what supplemental materials are available. Tests and extra review and practice books are only available for some of the series. Second, what standards the series is aligned to. There's a real assortment of state and national standards the various programs are aligned to, including one program that predates all of the current standards, and one that is only correlated to Singapore standards. Third, how much review is incorporated into the text and workbook. For instance, the Standards Edition incorporates more review and relies less on supplemental material. Fourth, what components are in color. As you might expect, newer programs tend to have more components with color, although all still have black and white workbooks. And fifth, expense. There is a full range of expense among these programs. Any of these characteristics might be important to you and your family.
We encourage you to think through the needs of your family and to use the family factors as a guide for finding the best fit for your family. There are videos and worksheets on these factors on our website, but here's a quick review. F is for faith or philosophy, A for approach, M for money, I for the individuals in your family, L for the life situations that might be specific to your family, and Y is for you as the teacher. What do you need? Some of these factors, such as the F for faith and the A for approach, are the same for all of the Singapore math programs. We've found the most important family factors in choosing Singapore math programs tend to be the expense of the materials, the M in the family, or your needs as a teacher, the Y in family, or what components your students will need, the I in family. You'll want to keep an eye on how specific life situations, the L in family, might impact your choice as well.
So which of these Singapore Approach math programs should you choose? We really can't say it often enough. Within the whole range of math programs, all the various Singapore Approach math programs are more alike than they are different. All of them are based on teacher-student interactions and require a medium level of teacher involvement. Any differences tend to be in the little details of the program. Deciding which to choose might be based on cost, or what supplementals are available, or on the nature of the teacher materials. They might be based on whether or not there is color, or what the general appearance is, or what kits are available, or what standards the program is aligned to. For example, if you want good instruction with minimal expense, then look at Primary Math US Edition. If you want or need a program that is aligned to Common Core, then consider Math in Focus or Primary Math Common Core Edition. If you need information on differentiated instruction, how to strengthen struggling learners, English language learners, or advanced learners, then you might want to look at Math in Focus, whose Teacher's Guides has notes on each of these for every lesson. If you want to make sure your program provides lots of review, then look at Primary Math Standards Edition. That version incorporates the most review directly into the course books. If you want something that looks like an American textbook program, then choose Math in Focus. If you want tests or assessments, then you will need to look at Primary Math Standards Edition or Math in Focus. If you are not certain you understand the Singapore method very well and wonder about your ability to present it clearly, take a look at Math in Focus. That series provides more instructional content in both the student text and the teacher guide than some of the other series. If you want a teacher's guide that includes reduced copies of the student books, you will need to look at either Math in Focus, Primary Math Common Core Edition, or Shaping Maths. If you want a program that has an online component, then take a look at Shaping Maths, which has online digital resources, or Primary Math Standards Edition. The Teacher's Guide for that edition includes access to the online Math Buddies. We know that all the information about these programs can be confusing and sometimes overwhelming. For a side-by-side comparison, check out the Singapore Approach Math Comparison Chart on our website. This handy chart consolidates all of the similarities and differences and shows how the programs compare to one another.
Our team of Rainbow Consultants is always happy to answer any questions you might have and to help you make curriculum selections that will best meet the needs of your family. You can contact us by phone at 888-841-3456 or by email at consultants@rainbowresource.com or by live chat from our website www.rainbowresource.com. We look forward to talking with you.